couple of weeks ago, I made some pineapple upside down cake ice cream, and the flavor was really good, but I was a bit disappointed with the consistency. It was a little bit icy on the first run. The second run, the next day, I think I added some guar gum, and it did help a lot. I gave a scoop to my husband, and he's really good. He doesn't even eat the whole scoop. He usually just has a bite. But he said it was the best ice cream I've made, and I've made a lot of ice creams, and he's liked a lot of my ice creams. But that one was his favorite, so I'm going to recreate it for Father's Day. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to use some cake mix, which is flour-based, so you have to cook flour. I'm going to just cook it over the stove to start, and then I'm going to add it to my base. And I'm hoping it'll not only help the taste, so it'll taste like yellow cake, which is what is the bottom of the pineapple upside down cake, but I'm also hoping that it will help it with its consistency so that it'll be more scoopable and less soupy and less icy. Over medium heat, I'm going to add a little bit of cake mix. Say about maybe half a cup. I don't want too much. I'm going to spread this out in the pan. And I'm going to let this cook a little bit. Now that my cake mix has cooked for about 5 minutes over medium heat, I'm ready to add my other ingredients for my ice cream base. It's going to be basically a vanilla base, but I'm going to add a little bit of the pineapple flavor once I cook the pineapple. I'm going to add a little bit of this vanilla jello, maybe like just a teaspoon. It's going to help stabilize it and help the flavor. I'm going to add some cream cheese, just like a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half. I'm going to add some fat-free Fairlife milk because that's what I have. Any kind of milk is fine. This is supposed to cream up really nicely though. Stir that up. And then I'll add my cream once this is all incorporated. Now that this is all incorporated and the cream cheese is melted in, I've got little lumps in here, and that's fine. I'm just going to keep stirring. But now I'm ready to add my vanilla and my cream and a little bit of my sugar. So maybe a teaspoon of vanilla, actually a teaspoon and a half. And cream. I'm going to shake it. I would say probably just a half a cup of cream. Now as far as the sugar goes, I'm using Splenda, but you can use whatever kind of sweetener you'd like. I'm not going to add that much because the cake mix has a little bit of sugar in it. So I'm going to add maybe just a half a cup. And I'm going to stir that up. And if I need to, I will add a little bit more milk. Actually, I think it might be fine. I'm going to add this to my Ninja pint. I have a deluxe pint. And then I'm going to start cooking my pineapple, and that's going to be added. So basically, this is our base. It's kind of like our cake mix. And then the pineapple, I'm going to saute it and make a nice sauce, just like you'd have the sauce on the bottom of the pineapple upside down cake. Over medium heat, I'm going to add a pat of butter. You don't have to use butter, but I like to use it because it makes a nice sauce. I'm going to add all of my pineapple. It's about, let's say 3/4 of a pineapple. I mean, it varies on the size of the pineapple you have, but for me, this is how much I had, so I'm going to cook it all. I'm not going to add all of this to my ice cream. Obviously, that would be way too much. I'm going to save some of it. It makes a really nice topping to go on the pineapple upside down cake and also other types of ice cream. So, and it stores really well in the refrigerator. I can just put it in a Tupperware and heat it up in the microwave when I'm ready. So I'm going to cook this the pineapple for about 5 to 7 minutes until it starts to get soft. Then I'm going to add my sugars and my alcohol, make a little sauce, and once it gets nice and brown and cooked down like it is in pineapple upside down cake, then I will add part of it to the ice cream. Now that the pineapple is cooked down and I've got a nice, all the juices are starting to come out, it's time to create my sauce. So I'm going to start with some brandy. You can use any kind of alcohol. I like the smell of brandy. It kind of reminds me of pineapple upside down cake. I'd say about just a splash. It wasn't too much. Of course, this is going to cook off, so the alcohol is not going to be in the ice cream. It's just going to impart some of the flavor, and it's going to make a nice sauce. I'm going to add my brown sugar. This is probably about half of a cup. I'm also going to add some Swerve, which is artificial sweetener, brown sugar, just to keep the calories down. I don't want to have too much. I want it to be sweet, but I don't want it to have crazy amount of calories. So I'm going to add about the same amount of this Swerve. It's just this brown sugar. I'm going to add a little bit of molasses. Stir this while this is coming out. I'm also going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of vanilla, and then I'll just let this cook down. As you can see, as I'm stirring this, it's gotten really watery, very liquidy. That's fine. Now my molasses is finally starting to come out. So I'm going to cook this down until it's a nice brown syrup. It'll probably take about 5 minutes. I think that's pretty good. So as far as the molasses, I probably added like maybe a tablespoon or so. After about 5 minutes, it's looking really good, but as you can see, the sauce is still pretty liquidy. So I'm probably going to have to cook it for another 5 minutes or so. But it's not requiring much work. I'm just letting it sit here, and I'll know once the syrup, when I use my spoon and it kind of holds its shape for a little bit, then it'll be ready, and then I'll pour some into my ice cream and I'll leave some as a sauce. That took a lot longer than I expected, but it's now ready. As you can see, the bubbles changed, and when I move my spoon, you can see it takes a minute for the sauce to come in, so it's ready to mix it into my ice cream. Now I'm ready to pour my pineapple, half of it, into my creamy container. I don't know if it's going to be half. I'm just going to pour it in there until it reaches the max level. I assume it's going to be about half. I don't want to pour all the sauce in. I'm going to leave some sauce, so pineapples, that's pretty good. And then I forgot to add the almond extract, so I'll add that now. Just a little bit. I'm going to put it in the cap so I don't accidentally put too much in. A couple pineapples fell. I'm going to stir this up and taste and adjust my sugar levels and my salt levels, and then I'll be ready to freeze. Now I'm ready to spin this on full and regular ice cream setting. After one run through, it looks like it needs a little work, so I ran it through with my spoon a little bit, and it feels like it definitely needs another run through. The decision is, do I send it through mix-in or respin? I think for this I'm going to do mix-in because it's almost there. It's just got, I'll show you again, it's got like chunkies in it. So it's definitely not a smooth texture that I want. But if I run it through a full respin, it might get overspun and then it's not going to be good. So we'll try it on mix-in and see what we get. After running this through the respin cycle, I think that was a good call because it looks perfect now. I'm ready to serve it up. So I'm going to scoop into the bowl. And remember, I reserved some of the pineapple for the topping. And it's scooped out really nicely. It feels very creamy. You can kind of tell how it's going to go by the scoop. And I'm going to put some of this pineapple glaze with pineapples and then show it to you. Looks pretty good. So now it's time to taste. Would you like to taste it first? You don't have to be on camera. You can just tell me how it is, if it's as good as last time. Be honest.
Very good.
Good?
No, very
Okay.
good.
Okay, very good. Okay, I think that's, okay, now I gotta taste it. So it smells really good. It tastes just like pineapple upside down cake, and the base is much creamier than last time. So I think I nailed it this time.